Now, this is something we've discussed at length already, but due to the importance of the story, it's important for us to bring a spotlight to it. Now, in a dramatic U-turn from official statements discrediting a kidnapping to confirmation that 177 people have in fact been kidnapped from Kurmin Wali, Kajuru local government area, Kaduna State, the nation is still stunned. Bandits on Sunday, January 19th of this year, abducted the worshippers from 3 different church services, with 6 captives escaping miraculously. Now, here's a recap of the first official statements that had been made by the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs for Kaduna State, Sule Shuaibu, and the local government chairman, Dauda Madaki, following reports that a mass abduction had taken place.
We have discovered, and it is categorically confirmed, that the issue that is coming out from there is totally false. And as government, His Excellency does not tolerate this kind of false narratives. And so we are here to make it abundantly clear to members of the public that the narrative from the Kajuru area that people have been kidnapped or whatever in the like of that is totally false, is not tenable, and we do not have any evidence of such.
On reaching to the community, things were moving normal. We visited the church, the say 2 churches. There was no any evidence that shows that, yes, there was an attack. And then we find out from the village heads, Danzaria, who confirmed to us that, yes, everything is going normal, and that they were bandits because 3 days ago, the military forces has chased them around Agula Mountain, and they were passing by. So, and I asked them, what are the names of those that have been kidnapped? Did they have, they could not find any names for me. So to the best of our knowledge, nobody in Kajuru local government from that village is in the hospital as a result of this, say, attack.
Well, I know on social media they would say a few moments later. But truly, on Wednesday, 22nd January, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokum, finally confirmed that the incident had indeed occurred. However, the Nigeria Police Force has dismissed reports suggesting inconsistent communication, and this is what the Force Public Relations Officer, Benjamin Hundeyin, had to say.
So let's be very specific to what the Commissioner of Police said. At no point did the Commissioner of Police say there was no attack. If you listen carefully, the Commissioner of Police said information was received that there was an attack. And immediately, the police mobilized personnel to that place to find out what was really happening. And as at the point they got there, there was no eyewitness to say something happened. The people they met in the communities said they did not see anything. One of the people abducted escaped and came out and was able to confirm that this happened. And there, shortly after, we also got names of people that were actually abducted. So the moment this concrete evidence came up, we owned up to it, and we felt, and we know it's a duty, our own duty, to update Nigerians. And that was exactly what we did. We made no attempt to cover up anything. So we came out to issue that statement to say, yes, we now have evidence that it was an attack.
Well, the governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, has of course since visited the area, and he's requested for the presence of a military base, along with making sure that the state will support the families of those affected by this. But Ayo, let me start with you. You know, you intentionally put those videos together because I remember watching the screen when they were saying this report is untrue. However, Associated Press, Reuters, international media had gone to print with the story. And local media it was starting to come out, but there were concerns because, of course, the first thing you do is you verify your story with the authorities. And the authorities said they totally debunked it. Anyway, this is where we are now. Your take on how events have unfolded in just 48 to 72 hours.
All right. Well, thank you. And I'm glad that, to be balanced, you brought out that video by the spokesperson of the police saying that it was misconstrued. Unfortunately, we've seen this happen a number of times whereby a statement or they would make a gaffe and then it will come out to say, oh, you didn't understand what we were trying to say. What he actually meant was X, Y, Z. Irrespective irrespective of what happened, the truth is that there was almost a denial, I think that's the right word to say, of the incident happening and what they had called for. And I don't even know if this is standard procedure, whereby because the community members said that, in fact, when this happened, they raised alarm with the police immediately. So they're quite taken aback to hear them say that, oh, it didn't happen. So I don't know if it's standard procedure to ask for evidence of names of people kidnapped before you're able to verify a story. I can understand the cautiousness of the police commissioner because of what's happened in recent times. Remember, we're still trying to survive or live off the fact that in Kebbi State, we had the issue with the numbers, how many people were abducted or kidnapped, how many people were not kidnapped, who were the numbers released and so on. So maybe they're trying to save that kind of situation from happening to make some form of excuse. But because we've also seen this happen a number of times whereby authorities deny certain things that have happened or try to downplay it in order to manage the situation, you can understand that this might actually have been what has happened. And earlier on I said that we need to stop doing this because it erodes public trust in authorities. Meaning that if they say something, we need to go and check again to see whether or not it was true or not. We don't need a spokesperson to explain to us what somebody was trying to say to tell us what the truth is. But let's see how this can be better handled, since we're looking forward in terms of solutions. The governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, has demonstrated true leadership in the way that he has responded to this. Number one, like I mentioned, I'll just reiterate again, was a sense of ownership. He mentioned that the responsibility of his government was to protect the lives and property of the people in Kaduna State. The authorities can take a playbook from this, take responsibility. The second was a clear action plan. What we must do, number one, is that we cannot continue to allow this to happen. We have identified these areas as hotspots for kidnapping. What we'll do is to work with the Minister of Defense to ensure that we put a military base there to prevent this incident from happening. The other thing he talked about was infrastructure development. He said the road, we're going to fix the road leading to that place to ensure that they had, they were able to control it security-wise. One of the things we've continued to talk about, particularly for the North, in order to prevent this incident, is to provide infrastructure for them. Road, water, light, education, ensure that the people are well looked at so they don't feel marginalized. So these are some of the things that we want to see going forward. Can we stop the denial? Yes, it looks bad. Yes, it's embarrassing. Whilst we are fixing the issues or tackling the issues, can we be upfront to the people, even still whilst managing the language, but giving them hope that we are dealing with this, we're on top of this, but it did happen.
That's right. And Dr. Abati, should there be any consequences for the local government chairman who said he went to the area, everything was cool and calm, and there was no sign or trace of any incident? Or should that also be forgiven as human error?
Look, I think there must be some provision in our laws to punish people who shamefacedly, recklessly, brazenly lie to the Nigerian people, because it's become some standard culture among public officials to tell lies. This was an attack in broad daylight. We were told that the attack, bandits arriving on motorcycles at around 11:10 a.m. last Sunday, attacked the Ekwa Church, attacked the Cherubim and Seraphim Church in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. Now, some families, like the Amos family, had 13 people abducted. The Musa family had 6 people abducted. Incredible. Another family had 16 persons abducted. Can you imagine? People going to church, a whole family going to worship on Sunday, and then you just take all the members of the church. The eldest person abducted was 71. The youngest person was 6 years old. Now, the Christian Society Worldwide Network, CSWN, they said when they heard about it, they rushed to the place, but they were not even allowed to get to the community. They were sent back by government officials that there was no problem. And then, of course, the human rights groups then insisted. And that was when the truth came out. And it was the police that now came later and said, no, it is confirmed. 177 persons, elderly women and children, were released. 11 people escaped. And now we are hearing 166 or 167. And this happened exactly 1 week after that same community had paid 25.3 million ransom to get some people who had been abducted previously. So I think government officials lying to the people, there should be punishment for it. Yes. And that's why Riley Moore I don't always agree with what he says, as a parachute interventionist in Nigerian politics, was right in saying that the remaining people should be rescued. And I think Mr. Peter Obi is also right to have said the people who denied, now where is their evidence? Now that the truth has come out. But the bottom line, of course, is that nobody should be abducted in this country, whether they are in church or they are in mosque or they are in the mosque or they are at home. It still reminds us of the crisis of insecurity that we all face.
Absolutely. And we end this story with this tweet from Peter Obi, who says, since it has now been confirmed that over 150 worshippers were kidnapped from churches in Kaduna, where and how did those who denied the incident initially get their information? And since those who deny threatened to punish the people said to be spreading falsehood, who now faces the punishment? In any serious country, this would trigger decisive national action, clear communication, and visible leadership. Leadership is not only about grabbing power, but it is also about presence. It is about speaking when citizens are hurting, acting when lives are at risk, and showing clearly that every Nigerian life matters. Now, while we await the safe return of those abductees, we do hope that there will be consequences for those who did not act in line with their constitutional duties throughout the process.